On the 28th of August, 2025, Amtrak's first Acela Liberty trains entered service. These were the first new high-speed trains to enter Amtrak's fleet since the 2000 launch of the Acela service. The excitement was immense, both among passengers and crew. But upon the debut of the service, reviews were more mixed than most people predicted. Hard seats, dysfunctional restrooms, broken doors. So on a recent journey down the Northeast Corridor, I wanted to see what had changed, and more importantly, if time fixed Amtrak's new flagship high-speed train. My day starts at South Station, settling into my seat for this journey. I'll be taking a look at the Acela's new first-class product, arguably the most anticipated aspect of this new train. The start of my journey was very positive, with a welcome drink service coming around before departure from Boston. But before we get to our next stop, here's some quick Acela history. Following the passage of the Ground Transportation Act, which was designed to advance passenger rail in the United States, the Penn Central Railroad received a fleet of all new Metroliner train sets. These state-of-the-art trains were designed to hit speeds of 125 miles an hour between D.C. and New York. The bit up to Boston was unelectrified at this time. Amtrak took over the Metroliner service after the demise of Penn Central. But the service was plagued with problems, limiting its potential. For one, the trains broke down so often that on occasion, locomotives and carriages had to step in for the broken down trains. Another slightly more obscure problem is that these trains, when they reached their top speed, would actually rip the windows out of the Princeton shuttle trains when they passed Princeton Junction, which was kind of a little bit impractical for operations, but... So Amtrak hatched a plan for the Acela service, which would be truly high speed and high performance, because this time the trains were pointy. They also extended the electrification up to Boston, with 150 mile per hour running now being commonplace through Rhode Island. And it stayed like that up until the introduction of the new trains. After Back Bay, the menus are handed out, and we pick up speed through Ruggles and Forest Hills. The train continues to accelerate, and I will note that these are very smooth trains, gliding through the southern suburbs of Boston. A new feature introduced on these trains is the active tilting mechanism, which allows the Acelias to corner faster, the way a motorcycle leans into turns. This will especially help on the Connecticut portion of the corridor, which, bends. Next, we pull into Route 128, where the train really started to fill up. I suspect that more people boarded the train here than at South Station, which I very much didn't expect. That said, I would like to give you a tour of my seat for the next several hours. Let's begin with our table, which thankfully aligned with the window, but beware of this because not all seats do, which is certainly a problem in my view, especially given that this is a premium product. But the table itself has this strange foldy-outy thing. I know that some people don't mind this, but I do think it is somewhat inelegant and cluttered. Next, let's talk about the seat itself. In first class, you have these fixed armrests with substantial padding. And now for perhaps the most controversial aspect of this train, its recline, or rather lack thereof. Because when you push this silver button, the bottom awkwardly scooches forward. But the seat doesn't move. I would describe this as more of a slouch than a recline, with almost no lumbar support when the seat is fully extended. The train also has these safety cards and information sheets. One of the chief complaints about the new trains upon their entry into service is that the seats were incredibly stiff. Many people predicted that in a few months they would begin to soften, but unfortunately I haven't seen any major improvement on the bottom of the seat. However, the seat back was very comfortable and well padded. These seats do make another improvement upon the previous generation, with these headrest thingies. Great for taking a nap. I will also acknowledge this small little reading light with the most satisfying of buttons. I saw many people reading and working, so I'd imagine these will be pretty well used. Passing through Pawtucket Central Falls, and then the tunnel through the heart of Providence, with its strange tunnel, then bridge over a river, then tunnel again setup, we get up to our maximum speed of 160 miles per hour. This is a small improvement over the previous fleet, which topped out at 150. Another important feature of these trains is the blind. I found that this really adds to the comfort of the journey, as the sun was shining directly in my eye for a large part of the trip. We continue flying through southern Connecticut at decidedly less than 160 miles an hour, passing many northeast regional stations along the way. While we do slow down somewhat, these trains corner fairly well, helped by their tilting tech, I'd imagine. It is also worth noting that we pass over several level crossings, which is quite the change of pace for these high-speed trains. But, for all the slowness, I do believe that this part of the line adds a lot of character to the corridor, especially the part of the line through New London, which snakes its way along the waterfront with a big sweeping curve taking us through downtown. This next bit, while not being directly related to the new Avelia Liberty train sets, is the service, which was incredible. The two attendants were working very hard, and the meal service was very timely. Out of the options, a fruit plate, an omelette, and a quiche, I chose the third option. The food was excellent, but I didn't want to film myself eating, so as proof, here's the beginning of my meal, here's the middle, and here's the end. The catering service also came with this exceptional croissant, which is sourced from 3 local bakery partners. Needless to say, it slapped. In addition to the meal service, you are also able to order drinks whenever you want in first class. I got a tea, and it too slapped. The next segment will discuss the buffet car. This car had several cabinets for cold food options such as sandwiches, as well as whatever this thing is. There was a separate cabinet for soft drinks too. This area is meant to be a self-checkout counter kiosk thing, which many seemed excited for, but that feature still remains unimplemented. There's this little hangout area, where you can lean against one of these tables, and to my knowledge, it is well used. I do have one complaint about this car, though. It is very easy to hit your head, because if you stand next to the window and lean in too far, you'll knock your head on this plastic bar, which is very annoying if you're taller than 5'5"-ish. But perhaps the biggest question we all have about this train is one that requires me to go to the restroom. I should note that there are bathrooms in every car, except for the buffet car. Furthermore, all bathrooms aboard this train are accessible, which is a nice touch. But when I enter and lock the door, you can see some empty shelves, which are fine, a sink with good water pressure, but I did find that the hand dryer and soap dispenser are a little bit hit or miss. There is toilet paper, very well stocked, but it is a little difficult to access, being recessed into this wall panel. I also appreciate the attention to detail with toilet seat covers and a baby changing table. But the toilets themselves are... yeah. Every single toilet in the train that I saw was filled to the brim with everything. Everything. Not positive. But with that out of the way, I'm almost at New York. So what do I think of these new Acelia Liberty trains? Well, the saloons themselves are very clean and modern feeling. I found that the service was exceptional, with both attendants being very passionate about their work. The accessibility is excellent, with gap fillers and fully accessible toilet facilities. The new cafe car is wonderful, with the exception of the headbang beam above the window. One of my complaints, which may seem insignificant, but I think really impacts the journey quality, are these screens. They don't show a route map, nor even the next station. They just say, "Welcome aboard." Welcome aboard. They also tell you where the quiet car is, and how to throw away your trash. So please make better use of these. But all in all, this was a memorable, comfortable, and enjoyable travel experience. So, did 6 months fix the Acelia Liberty? No. But that's okay. The old Acelas were just as weird. And if I nitpicked, I could find just as many flaws. But America is still learning how to get this right. But they're getting better. And I do believe that these trains are better. And I firmly believe that the next batch of trains will be better still. So with that, huge thanks for watching, and I'll see you around.